The Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively legal saga continues, and after we've already broken down the complaints and the responses right now.
This is going to be Lively's attempt to recast what's going on here, to bring the narrative back to her side and hopefully get some sympathy from people, because right now she's losing 90%, I would say. Zach, do you agree with that? And what about Taylor Swift? I mean, the silence is deafening. Hasn't she stood up for other female artists in the past under similar circumstances, and now we're just not hearing anything?
Blake Lively, renowned for her status as a fashion icon and one half of Hollywood's most adored celebrity power couple, has always been admired for her effortless style and charm. However, recent events have placed her at the center of a scandal that could shake the foundations of her career. Known for maintaining a carefully curated public image, Lively now faces intense scrutiny as the controversy unfolds. With her career and reputation on the line, the world watches closely to see how she navigates this unexpected challenge and whether her star power can withstand the pressure.
What I wanted, there were two things that I wanted. I wanted the media and observers to know that a lot of us have a problem with Blake Lively and what she has done to an innocent man. And so I knew that she was going to be getting a lot of love in the media for this big new premiere. And I just wanted someone to be out there at the premiere holding up the sign, standing up for Justin Baldoni and calling Blake Lively out for what she has done.
Here's what citizen journalists had to say. Today, while the public is screaming to be heard on our distaste for this person, Blake Lively, and on a day where she had a perfectly reasonable and very public excuse to make a pass of walking this red carpet, Blake Lively walked a red carpet populated entirely of approved fans, vetted journalists, and media-prepped co-stars. Oh, sorry, you guys can't read all this. Media vetted co-stars who are all there on the condition that they play by Blake Lively's rules and may not have all the answers on why Blake has the stranglehold on Hollywood that has motivated so many to bend over backwards to do her bidding. But even without the why, the what is plain as day. Blake Lively is the powerful one. Stop thinking you can sell this lie to us. Now, I completely agree that Blake Lively is the powerful one. I don't know if there was some coordinated effort to not talk about this, other than all of the PR are going to say, don't talk about this.
Reports are circulating that Blake Lively presented fake evidence in court against actor and filmmaker Justin Baldoni. Yes, you read that correctly. What began as a legal dispute has now erupted into a full-blown courtroom drama, complete with shocking revelations, leaked documents, and explosive accusations that could completely alter the course of everything.
Just imagine, I mean, even when we do filings that are not public celebrity cases, you know, you kind of go back and forth about the wording, make sure that you have what you need. But here, they're filing it for an ulterior motive. It's really not for the court, it's for public consumption. So I can imagine that it's not just the lawyers that have to review these complaints or amended complaint, it's all the PR people. I mean, it's the agents, it's probably Ryan Reynolds.
So is Blake really behind this? Or is she the target of a larger Hollywood power play? With the stakes getting higher and the drama intensifying, it's hard to tell what's truly going on. One thing's for sure. Things are about to get even, more wild, and the truth could have major implications for her career and the entire Hollywood scene. Buckle up.
The explosive legal battle between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. New text messages reveal shocking behind-the-scenes drama, from Blake Lively's alleged push to control the film's edit to these apparent mentions of Taylor Swift and even a weight discussion. These text messages paint a very different story than what Lively has publicly claimed.
Let's rewind to the beginning. According to sources close to the case, Blake Lively's legal team submitted evidence alleging that Justin Baldoni was involved in illegal activities, including money laundering and unethical financial dealings.
They're working on it, and I'm sure they're wordsmithing everything at this point in time. They've probably got a team of lawyers and paralegals and everybody pulling together everything. I personally don't think it's going to be a whole lot different than the original complaint that's out there. This is going to be, it's going to be a story that's going to be told to the public at large, and it's supposed to hopefully address some of the PR failures that they've had in this, including Saturday night with Ryan Reynolds on SNL. But I think it's still going to be the same, that she made complaints, they were ignored, and then when finally they got tired of hearing these complaints from her, they retaliated against her. And that's going to be the theme. It's still going to be there, but it's just going to have a lot more facts in it. I think Baldoni's crew got out in front of this more quickly. The text messages that they put together and put out and filed in the court the way they read is like a novel. It's devastating. And so this is going to be Lively's attempt to recast what's going on here, to bring the narrative back to her side and hopefully get some sympathy from people. Because right now she's losing 90%, I would say. Zach, do you agree with that?
The so-called evidence presented included email chains, text messages, and financial records that supposedly linked Justin Baldoni to questionable transactions. However, here's the twist. Forensic experts claim the documents were fabricated using advanced software. Cybersecurity specialists have highlighted discrepancies in the metadata, such as mismatched timestamps and suspicious formatting. Even AI detection tools have raised concerns, suggesting that some of the text messages may have been created using deepfake technology.
The fact that WME fired Justin is a huge cause for a lot of the damages that he's now suffering, including the loss of his Pac-Man movie and deals that Wayfair had. What are the real ramifications of this? And does it help that there's now actual audio of it?
I mean, I think, Andy, I think this rises to the level of what we'd almost call a smoking gun. And you know, what you're trying to prove in the defamation case is that you actually suffered damages related to whatever you were defamed about or whatever was mistruth about you. And sometimes that's a hard nexus to prove. It's going to be hard nexus for Lively to prove that her skincare line tanked because of the negative publicity. And it was going to be hard for Baldoni to show that any comments that were made about him, since he's been doing so well in the PR war, actually affected the damages. But what I think we're seeing now with this quote is WME absolutely got rid of him because of these things that were said. And so now he's got a clear line to get damage support.
Fans are divided. Some believe this is a deliberate attempt to sabotage Justin Baldoni's career, while others speculate that Blake may have been misled by someone on her legal team. But if the evidence is indeed fake, who stands to benefit the most? Let's dive deeper and unravel the mystery.
I think that was also a big issue from Blake Lively's team, is that, they were okay with the website going up as far as the amended complaint goes. Now, when it came to that timeline, they actually wanted that timeline to be incorporated with the complaint as far as going into that paragraph form, because they kind of explained that this was all their side of the story. This was one-sided. But, when you have receipts, proofs, timeline, facts, text messages, all this stuff to kind of counter the claims that, your client has put forth, it's kind of hard to kind of diminish that a little bit as far as, what is the possible jury pool going to see, before they're getting called for this case. And that, of course, we know that the trial is going to be slated for next year. They're going to keep that date of next year, even though the judge kind of mentioned a little bit that he might be interested in pushing that date forward, because it seems like everyone across the board just wants a resolve. Everyone across the board is claiming, with their respective parties, that they have been either emotionally or financially damaged by everything that's going on, whether it's Blake and Ryan Reynolds, who, again, we have to stress, Ryan Reynolds was not even a part of the It Ends With Us movie. Again, there's a lot of conspiracies, kind of what role he plays a little bit right now, but just sticking to the facts here. Whereas, Baldoni's team, they're being accused of sexual harassment, all this types of things. So it's a lot of he said, she said. It's a lot of kind of mess. It's kind of giving you a little eeriness of what had happened with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation. But again, this isn't a criminal case. This is not a criminal matter. No one's going to jail. This is a civil matter. So I think as far as the resolve goes, could we all argue that there's been damage to every single party involved? Absolutely.
Here's where things get even messier. Justin Baldoni's legal team wasn't about to let these claims slide. With the help of forensic analysts, they quickly dissected the so-called evidence, and it didn't take long to uncover major discrepancies. For instance, one of the emails presented had a font that didn't exist at the time it was supposedly sent. Another text message was traced to an IP address in a completely different country from where Justin was at the time. Then came the biggest bombshell. An anonymous former employee from Blake's legal team came forward, claiming they were pressured to fabricate the evidence. Leaked screenshots revealed internal communications discussing how to strengthen the case against Baldoni.
They did not do their proper due diligence. And most recently, we had a court hearing this past week where the judge had to work out the scheduling and procedure of the case, a trial currently set for March of 2026, but also he admonished and warned both sides, really the lawyers, to be very cautious about what public comments they make about this case, to not say anything that could potentially taint a future jury. And that's important because for Brian Friedman especially, this is Justin Baldoni's attorney, He has been fighting this in the public just as much as in legal filings, seemingly creating a website filled with extra correspondence, releasing behind-the-scenes footage, constantly talking about the case on podcasts and internet.
Justin's legal team wasted no time requesting the court to dismiss the false claims, putting Blake's entire case in jeopardy. But the question remains, is she the mastermind behind this, or was she set up by someone else?
Blake Lively's strongest claims as backed up by evidence. You see, the allegation that she was the victim of a smear campaign, and she says she's got the text messages to prove it. So particularly the messages between Baldoni and Melissa Nathan, his crisis management expert, and Jennifer Abel, his publicist. So I want to go to her complaint. Her complaint reads, on August 16th, Miss Nathan circulated a Daily Mail article entitled String of Hard-to-Watch Videos That Have Surfaced Following Tone-Deaf Q&A to promote It Ends With Us Could Tarnish 36-year-old star's golden Hollywood image for good. To which Abel responded, wow, you really outdid yourself with this piece. And Miss Nathan replied, that's why you hired me, right? I'm the best. As their own words reveal, the purpose of this social manipulation plan was twofold. It aimed to both conceal the pattern of harassment and other misconduct by Mr. Baldoni, Mr. Heath, and Wayfarer, and retaliate against Miss Lively by battering her image, harming her businesses, and causing her and her family severe emotional harm. Millions of people, including many reporters and influencers who saw these planted stories, social media posts, and other online content, had no idea they were unwitting consumers of a crisis PR, astroturfing, and digital retaliation campaign created and funded by Mr. Baldoni and Wayfarer to hurt Miss Lively. That is precisely the goal of astroturfing campaign, to light the fire and continue to stoke conversation secretly, blurring the line between authentic and manufactured content and creating viral public take.
This scandal is not only making headlines but also stirring up Hollywood. Some of Blake's celebrity friends are speaking out in her defense, while others are remaining strangely quiet. The mixed reactions are fueling even more speculation, leaving everyone wondering where the truth really lies and who stands to gain from all the drama. The silence of some is raising more questions than answers.
Here it is. I've got the protester, what the protester had to say, and why this article says Anna Kendrick delivered a shady response about reuniting with Blake Lively for another Simple Favor premiere. I'm going to let you guys decide if it's shady or not, okay? So stick around for that. Here it is. This is Blake arriving. No florals in sight, but she's at there, I mean, at the premiere. Now, what you can see is behind these barracks back here is the normal fans, and then I believe these are the pre-approved fans. People that know her, that have worked with her, you know, people that are vetted, because I don't think they want any of the public going near her, and I don't blame them. You know what I mean? Like, this is just the way it is. But then again, there are people out there that want to know what everyone really thinks about this case that's happening. It's one of the most bizarre cases in entertainment news, and this is one of the first times Blake has kind of done anything.
Ryan Reynolds, Blake's husband, has yet to make a public statement on the matter. However, sources close to the couple reveal that he's standing by her side, firmly believing she has been misled. While the controversy unfolds, it's clear that Reynolds is offering his support, trusting that Blake was unaware of any wrongdoing and remains a victim of a larger scheme.
This one. Remember this one? Right when the scandal was really breaking and he was like, everything's fine. All my fans have the exact same photo with the exact same blue tape, and not one of the members of all the press here are asking me one question about the big scandal involving my wife and Justin Baldoni. This is weird, not it.
Meanwhile, Chrissy Teigen, never one to hold back, tweeted, if this is true, it's a big yikes. Hollywood legal teams are wild, man. On the other hand, Tyler Perry, who's worked with Justin Baldoni in the past, spoke out saying, I've known Justin for years and this just doesn't add up. He's a solid guy. Kim Kardashian, a law student, had her own take, tweeting, cases like this make me wonder who's really behind the scenes pulling the strings. Celebs get used as pawns all the time. Perhaps the most unexpected comment came from Leonardo DiCaprio. When asked about the scandal at a recent event, he reportedly said, Hollywood's full of smoke and mirrors. Don't believe everything you hear.
At this point, they're fighting over subpoenas. They're talking over what needs to be subpoenaed, what can be subpoenaed, and then now they're going over who is being protected. As you know, officially, Blake Lively was asking for 2.5 years of subpoenas of private text messages, and etc., but she herself was asking for a protective order because she didn't want her famous friends, etc. I mean, I'm basically breaking it down for you guys. She didn't want her famous friends to be exposed, and some of the witnesses perhaps. So it says, as the Lively and Baldoni legal teams continue to squabble over the scope of subpoenas to telecom companies in what has become a $400 million and counting matter, the actress's attorneys today called out that it ends with its director, Justin Baldoni, his fellow defendants, and allegedly weaponized online content creators. That's me, for misleading accusations over a potential protective disorder. It continues, claiming that the attorney's eyes-only PO that Team Blake wishes to see put in place for discovery, depositions, and more has been warped in its intent and reach. Lively's attorneys told Judge Lyman Tuesday in a letter that, in fact, the travels of the mischaracterization embraced by the opposition through this manufactured echo chamber by itself provides ample justification. It says, in short, Lively's lawyers believe the opposing side is twisting the purpose of the protective order, and ironically, this distortion itself provides why a strict order is necessary to prevent misuse of private information. So not only do they ask for the protective order, but then now they're mad because the purpose of the protective order is apparently being twisted. It's like nothing.
So, who's telling the truth and who's covering their tracks? Now let's dive into the leak. Who exposed the truth and why? According to insider reports, an ex-employee from Blake's legal team, referred to as Alex for protection, decided to blow the whistle after realizing the extreme measures the team was taking to build a case against Justin. They claimed they were asked to doctor digital files, manipulate timestamps, and create misleading email threads. Feeling morally conflicted, Alex reportedly took screenshots of conversations between lawyers discussing how to make the evidence appear airtight.
Parties involved: Blake Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds, her publicist Leslie Sloan, Justin Baldoni, his production company Wayfarer Studios, and more, have now submitted a case management plan to the judge. And they're expected in federal court in New York on Monday. We're planning to cover what are known as the Wayfarer parties, so those in Baldoni's camp. They raised an issue that they say they want to address. Quote, during a conference of the parties' counsel on January 30th, 2025, counsel for the Wayfarer parties requested the earliest possible deposition of Blake Lively. Counsel for Miss Lively and Ryan Reynolds stated their objection to the Wayfarer party's lead counsel conducting the deposition of Blake Lively. Specifically, the Lively party's counsel indicated that they object to Brian J. Friedman personally taking Miss Lively's deposition based upon unspecified statements made by Mr. Friedman. When asked to elaborate on the grounds for their objection, counsel for the Lively parties declined to do so. Counsel for Miss Lively has made clear that Miss Lively does not want Mr. Friedman to be the attorney who takes her deposition. We are unaware of any situation that would warrant the deposed party to have a choice in which attorney takes her deposition. Parties to litigation simply do not have the right to dictate which of their opponent's attorneys may or may not take their deposition or perform any other aspect of the opposing party's case. The Wayfarer parties respectfully submit that this important issue should be discussed at the initial pretrial.
Meanwhile, despite being the victim in this situation, Justin Baldoni isn't walking away unscathed. His reputation, built on years of hard work and advocacy in the entertainment industry, has taken a hit. Even though the fake evidence has been exposed, the mere association with such serious allegations has left a mark. In Hollywood, perception is everything, and some brands and collaborators may hesitate to work with him until the dust fully settles.
Just means that he may need to pay some money that he owes per his contract with the publicist. Now, as for why I think Stephanie Jones may actually have a valid case against Justin, Wayfarer, Jennifer Abel, Melissa Nathan, etc., Jennifer Abel seems to have made some very irresponsible mistakes. Take a look at this part of the JonesWorks complaint here. By the time Jones became aware of the plot in August 2024 and terminated Abel, it was too late and the damage was done. Abel had already stolen more than 70 proprietary and sensitive business documents and additional client leads from JonesWorks. Beyond those documents, Abel left JonesWorks with Baldoni and Wayfarer in tow and immediately opened shop at her own competing firm, which she had set up while still working at JonesWorks. She further sought to poach employees in violation of the non-compete and non-solicitation provisions in her contract. And for their part, encouraging Abel and leaving with her, Wayfarer and Baldoni breached their own contract with JonesWorks and then poured salt in the wound by baselessly refusing to pay the remaining amount owed. Abel and Nathan's covert takedown and smear campaigns were revealed in black and white on Abel's company-issued phone following her termination, which JonesWorks forensically preserved and examined in detail after receiving a subpoena for the phone's contents. So she did get
But was this leak a genuine act of conscience or part of a larger takedown strategy against Blake? Some believe that Blake is being targeted by powerful figures in Hollywood who want to see her fall from grace. The timing of the leak is certainly suspicious, especially given Blake's outspoken stance on women's rights and industry reforms. Could she have made enemies in high places? Let's explore that next.
And this is a protester. Now, we know the protester. She's actually a great content creator. She's yelling justice for Justin Baldoni. She's right there.
If there's one thing we know about Hollywood, it's that power plays happen behind the scenes all the time. Take Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard, for example. What began as a personal legal battle quickly turned into a full-blown media circus. Could Blake be facing something similar? Conspiracy theories are already swirling. Some speculate that Blake was set up by powerful figures who want to tarnish her spotless image, while others believe this is just another example of Hollywood's ruthless legal battles, where winning matters more than the truth.
Blake Heard's It Ends With Us co-star Brandon Sklenner was there too, for a different project. The 1923 actor was there yesterday promoting his new movie, Drop. But just 7 days prior, Brandon Sklenner was at the Vanity Fair Oscar party, and he wore this, which got a lot of people talking. If you're not familiar with this iconic brooch, it just so happens to be the exact same one that Justin Baldoni previously wore. Same brooch. And not just anytime, anywhere. This was Justin Baldoni banished to the basement. That's right, he wore this brooch to the It Ends With Us premiere in New York City. The same premiere where Brandon Sklenner and the rest of the cast refused to take any photos with him or appear at all in any way with Justin Baldoni. The same premiere where, according to his lawsuit, the Never With Teeth icon demanded that he be kept apart and not even allowed in the same screening room. Hence, he was in the basement with his friends and family. So, when Brandon wore the same brooch on the Vanity Fair Oscars red carpet, a lot of people viewed that as a sign of support for Justin. Even though Sklenner has repeatedly come out in support publicly, repeatedly, for the consumer of oxygen.
Whatever the outcome, Blake's reputation is now on the line. The big question is whether she can recover from this scandal and rebuild her image. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni's career has also been impacted, despite being the victim in this situation. The lingering association with such serious allegations could affect his future opportunities in Hollywood. The real impact of this drama is yet to be fully seen.
Words that were said by Lively side had a clear, immediate negative impact on Baldoni's career.
100%. Yeah, I mean, he's losing deals left and right because of this. So, all right, so noted. So this is not good for him. He's going after the New York Times as well. The New York Times was working on that piece way before they're admitting. And I'm curious, from your, working with publications and agencies and celebrities, like, is that common for places like the New York Times to get things early? Is that something they just cannot ever admit? What is your take on all that?
Well, we are in an amazing new age with the TikTok crowd and people such as people who view your YouTube channel, where people are getting to the bottom of things in a way that have never happened before, right? So the New York Times has got 100+ years of precedent that it makes it so hard to defeat the New York Times in New York on a case for defamation, right? Now, in this new internet age and in this new age of where people are really truth-seeking, I think there is the level, the scale is getting leveled just a bit. That said, I would say it's incredibly difficult to win a defamation case against the New York Times because they know exactly what they need to do to make sure that their journalism gets protected in court. Getting the sources, getting a good faith belief that the sources are telling the truth, getting corroboration for those sources, and then printing it based on that information that they.
So what do you think? Is Blake Lively truly guilty of presenting fake evidence? Or is this a well-orchestrated attack against her? Do you believe the whistleblower? Or is there more to this story than meets the eye? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you think. And if you're all about juicy Hollywood drama, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update.